Welcome to Swazo Podcast. So we're here today with Lindsay White. She is the founder and CEO of the Little Milk Bar. That nowadays is like a big deal,
Yeah.
right? And the brand that started. Let's go back to the story, right? The brand that started in 20. Well, you started business in 2014, right?
Yes.
How was that?
Hard. I thought I was going to be so successful from the beginning and it was going to be easy because I quit my job to do that. And it did not do very well, but it did get me to start the Little Milk Bar in 2018.
Okay. So let's just talk a little bit about that beginning. So you quit your job. You want to start something for you, or you start in Etsy, right?
Yeah.
With Lot 801.
Lot 801, yeah.
Uh-huh. And how was that? Like how did you start? I guess you started with some initial capital. How
I started with like $400.
Okay.
I designed some patterns for baby leggings.
Oh, okay.
And I ordered like my own fabric. I didn't even know how to sew at the time. I ordered the fabric. I learned to sew over a weekend on a YouTube video.
Wow.
I just Googled how to make baby leggings. And by Monday, I opened my Etsy store and started selling baby leggings.
That's amazing. Yeah, me too. Me too. I love the idea of, because a lot of young moms, like, they want sometimes to stay home with their babies and stuff like that, or young entrepreneurs have an idea. What made you quit your job?
I always wanted to be a business owner. Since
Okay.
I was a kid, I knew that's what I wanted. It's just, yeah, like in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
My abuelo, my grandpa, he owned a barber shop.
Okay.
And then my dad owns a flooring store here in Utah. So
Okay.
seeing my dad be able to come to my softball games in the middle of the day, like I wanted that for my kids too. And so once I had my daughter, I knew I'm running out of time. I want to do this now. So I started my Etsy shop and ran that for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And doing both was very hard. Being a new mom, now running an Etsy shop, and then also having my business or working for my full-time job. So I quit a year and a half in and went full force, and I shouldn't have. That was a mistake.
When you say I shouldn't have, like, what because like sometimes we're like, I should have done this, but sometimes that experience gives you a lot of information, a lot of experience for you to something big like you're doing right now. So what did you get from there?
So I can't say I would take it back, because if I did, I wouldn't have the Little Milk Bar, and everything I learned there got me to where I'm at. So it was the journey I was meant to take.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the breadwinner in our family. We had just built a house. We moved into a home. My husband's career hadn't taken off yet. And so I had too much confidence in myself. And I thought, if I quit and I only focus on my business, then I'll make more money and it will be fine. But when I quit my job, I had zero income coming in. I mean, my husband had income coming in, but mine stopped. And I didn't make money from that first company at all. So I was never able to take an income. And so I say I probably should have ran them both longer together. So I still had money coming in and utilizing my paycheck while still trying to start it. Because that was a tough few years.
I have a question really quickly. Did you have any entrepreneurial experience prior to quitting your job, or was this just kind of like spur of the moment thing?
Spur of the moment thing.
Okay.
Zero experience. Other than I did watch my dad build his business.
Okay.
And the company I worked at, it was a water filtration company, and it was kind of great it was a small company, and I got to learn from the business owner. And when I went there was only a few employees, and by the time I left we had more. So I got to learn from people, but I had never had my own experience.
Okay.
I think Diana, because it's something that we talked about before, like you guys grew up, like you and Alman grew up in the business, seeing that. And I think a lot of young Latino entrepreneurs, second generation, they see their parents working and they're like, okay, I will either take over or I'll build something of my own. However, like sometimes we have that fear of like, and
Is this possible? Can I
is this
do
possible?
this?
Can I do this? And so it's a great experience. And Lindsay is a big deal. She was listed on the 1,002 by Forbes, and the 40
Under 40.
40 under 40 exactly, from the Utah Business Magazine. And I want you to share this experience, because even then, even doing this thing of I'm gonna just drop everything, because I will have people also stay like a long time. Oh, I want to do the sure thing. So do you feel that if you had done, and we can never know, right? Because do you feel that if you have done this, it would be slower? Because sometimes like the need
Yeah.
makes you kind of go into a little bit more. After you said, I quit, I'm going to do this, did you go out looking for education, information, and business ownership? How did that go? Like, and how did you get? And those, let's walk through how, Water
journey.
801 became the little milk bar.
Like, at what point did you see that pivot?
Yeah, exactly.
So if I didn't quit my job, it would not have got me to the Little Milk Bar, because I got to a point where it was so stressful that like I literally cried myself to sleep sometimes. I cry in the shower. This is not working. I made the biggest mistake of my life. And so I just kept saying, there's something I'm missing. There's something I'm missing. What is it? Like, I know that I'm capable of making this work. I didn't think it was a me problem. I thought it was what is the idea? Like, the Lot 801 baby leggings isn't a thing. I'm not passionate about that. I just kind of started it because that was an easy thing to start. And so I knew that there was a piece missing there. And so I got to a point where I was just constantly looking for what that missing piece was. And what that was is I was at a wedding. I was breastfeeding my son, Coda. He was about 8 months old. And my mom came over to me and she said, do you really think you should be doing that hair? I think you should go to the bathroom and do that. And I remember just looking at her and thinking, if she had said this to me 5 years ago with my daughter, I would have gotten right up and went to the bathroom. I would have been probably humiliated, embarrassed, probably cried in the bathroom feeding her. But that second breastfeeding journey for me was, I just had more confidence and I knew my rights and I was educated, and I just told her, no, thanks. I'm comfortable where I'm at. So I sat there and fed him. And then on the way home is when I turned to my husband and like that light bulb went off for me. And I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do. I need to create a brand that is a best friend for every breastfeeding mom, giving her permission to feed at the table. Sometimes we just need that, especially with our generations. A lot of the time it comes from our parents of that's a decent, or like I was raised that you go to a private room and you cover up and you feed. And so I was breaking that generational thought process and then now educating my mom.
Of course.
And now she's my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
She's great. But that was like that pivot of this is where it is. So then when we released our Milk Maker t-shirt, and it sold out, that was just letting me know, this is where I had never sold out of anything before that.
So what I see here is like you found a mission. You found like that thing, that's the purpose of what you're doing. Because sometimes we do want to have a business because we make money out of it, but when we find purpose behind what everything that's that you're doing, that explodes. And so
I have a really quick question. In that moment when you started designing the cover-up shirts, what did you say that they were called?
It's a Milk Maker t-shirt.
A Milk Maker t-shirt. When you designed that, was there anything on the market at that point there was nothing like it?
There was nothing like it. Breastfeeding wasn't like a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like I remember,
made it cool.
Like, we made it cool. Now it's everywhere. You can go to an Etsy shop. You'll see so many like knockoffs of our brand or like breastfeeding
you were the blueprint,
empowerment. Yes, we were the blueprint.
I love
Did not exist before us.
Okay.
Even when I first started posting on Instagram, I remember our videos kept getting taken down. Our photos were taken down and they said this is being removed for sexual content. That really lit a fire in me and made me realize how much more we needed this brand to exist, because the world was still viewing this in a really bad way.
Yeah, something that is very natural.
It's very natural. You are feeding, nurturing your child.
But an ad could come up with a woman in lingerie. So like the double standard here is not okay. So I ended up doing a petition. We turned it into an event for us on the Little Milk Bar of, we already had an audience of moms who were being empowered for breastfeeding and educating, being the first generation of their family to do it publicly.
Probably finding their community.
You built a community.
Right.
That's good.
So we got them in, we did a petition and we're like, hey, this is what's happening to us. This is not okay. We're so tired of this. And they signed it. We got like 30,000 signatures in a couple of weeks. We got the attention of Meta. So Meta was actually in the process of changing their policies for birth content.
Okay.
And so we had a seat at the table to help them change their breastfeeding content.
Wow.
They
Wow.
then changed their breastfeeding policies and now allowed it. We still have problems.
Yeah,
Some of
of
our
course.
ads still come down, but now it is in their policies to have breastfeeding content.
And that's the thing. Sometimes, like in our business journey, we find these things that can be like it could bring
mountain
your
that
business
take
down.
off,
Yeah, exactly.
in your business.
But you
journey.
actually use community to support you, to, like to
Help
bring
build.
awareness, to
Mhm.
do something different. And that's amazing because like a lot of business owners, new business owners, they come in with a dream and they want to do something. And then they all of a sudden find these,
hiccups in the road.
exactly, right. Just,
Barriers, yeah.
but it was amazing that, like using the community, going back there and not stopping because you were like, no, now I'm more passionate.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing more.
Exactly.
And I think you're probably very competitive. I don't know, but
Totally.
but then
I love
it's
that.
like it's doing these things, and this will mark the difference between having something stop me there, because you had that first business.
Experience, yeah.
It was fun. Probably like to say, okay, I'm starting something. You have a hope there.
Yeah.
You didn't have a mission there, but you found your mission. And then now all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to educate these people and I'm going to go big and I'm going to make sure that people listen. And sometimes we, especially Latinos here in the US, sometimes we're like, we are the only ones in the room. We are the ones, and we want to find that community. And you built that community. And so that's
Do you
pretty
feel
amazing.
like building that community or building a community within your brand has been a huge part of the success of Little
100% why we've been successful.
Okay.
And it was very intentional. Like when Instagram kept taking down our posts, it got to a point where it's like, well, what do I do? How do I market a product that I can't even post
Promote,
about?
yeah.
Do I just shut down? Like they're just going to stop me? But I was like, no, we need to turn this kind of into a PR thing. Like, yes, we were fighting the moral standards of it all, but also I have this community already that we're talking about this. They're pretty mad about this too. How can we turn this into a huge campaign to really bring some light to the Little Milk Bar? And so when we did that, we actually did a shadow ban campaign where we made black sweatshirts with Milk Bar on them. And we did really cool photos. Like we made moms look so cool while they were breastfeeding. It went viral. And then like all of the big news articles were publishing it. So it amplified us even more and like put our name on the map.
That's wonderful. But let me back up a little bit. How did you build that community? How did it start?
What were
Because
the steps?
yeah, exactly. What were the steps? If I'm a new business owner, I have this passion, I have this thing. How do I start? Because I think that's where people get lost. Where did you start?
Social media.
Yeah.
Social media is free. And we live in a time where it's easier than ever. And at the same time, also very hard because there's lots of competition.
Yeah,
But I will say when I started in 2018, there wasn't a lot of competition in my industry specifically. There was zero. And so since we were the first, it kind of caught fire pretty quickly. But you don't have to pay for news articles anymore or magazines or billboards or TV ads. You have social media and it's free. So I started building content on my social media page and I was very intentional in not being salesy. So a lot of the times I wouldn't even post about our new product. I would just be talking about information, education on breastfeeding, educating working moms on their rights going back to work and pumping. And so we were creating valuable content for them. But in every post, we just made sure that we included one of our products.
Of course.
So for example, if I did a post on when you're going back to work, what your federal rights are in pumping, we would have a mom sitting at a chair wearing our Milk Maker t-shirt, but that wasn't the main focus. It was the information on there. So it would like a new mom would tag all of her new friends that just went back to work. Like, you need to see this post.
Yeah.
And then it would become so shareable that we just would get lots of followers from that.
And that's a good thing because these days we don't want to be sold to. We want to find things. We want, we want to go for what we believe, and that's a great way. But I wanted to ask about it because I think it's a question that a lot of young entrepreneurs have. Either they have a great product or a great idea, but they are concentrating selling it instead of creating that community. And I think that makes a big difference. So That's amazing. So you had that with Meta, you are working now, so you still have some of your ads taken down. What is the process? What do you have to do? Like, when that happens, do you like go back to them?
We
or...
petition it,
Okay.
and they come back and they still take it down.
Damn.
We're just at their disposal. Like, they do whatever they want. So
Okay.
I'd say 20% of the time we petition it and they will put it back up.
Okay.
80% of the time they still remove it.
Wow, so it's hard work.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard to work with any ad agencies because they aren't used to that.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, this got flagged. We now are used to it. Like, it's just regular.
Yeah, let's go look into your life. I mean, you're a mom, you're a business owner.
A mother, a wife.
Yeah, exactly. How
entrepreneur.
do you manage all of that together? Having a successful business, doing all of this, but also having your family and having the value of putting my family first. That's how all of this came about, right?
Yeah.
How is your day? How is your everyday?
It's a hard question to answer because I don't do it all. I'm very lucky. My husband is a stay-at-home dad.
Okay.
He quit his job about 5 years ago. I got to a point in my business where we were doing well, but I was doing well with kids at home. And I was like, I can't imagine if I didn't have to watch the kids at home, like how much farther I could take this. So I asked my husband one day, I'm like, will you quit your job and stay home with the kids and let me focus on the business? I promise I'll double my revenue this year. And he's like, okay, I believe in you. Let's do it. So he quit his job, and within 12 months, we more than doubled that year.
Shout out to stay-at-home dads.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
I could not do what I do without him. I'm allowed to go to events in the evening, come to podcast interviews, go to work. He really helps me with the home front and allows me to do that. So,
did you ever face mom guilt at any point?
Yeah. So mom guilt's a crazy thing for me. I think no matter what, you'll always face mom guilt, but I'm kind of a different beast. I feel
I love that.
I know what I'm working for, so I don't have a lot of guilt. I feel like, especially with the generation of my grandpa being the first one to come to the US, he worked as hard as he could to help his kids. So now my dad's here. He's got a little bit of roots in Utah, building his own business, and he did what he could for me. And so I feel like I'm very intentional in knowing that I'm building this business to help my kids get even farther. And so there's guilt occasionally on day to day, like, oh, I wish I could be there more or do this. But I really work hard to give them a better life than I had. And
yeah, and that's, I think that's one, like, the Latino culture has a lot of that family thing. We work together, we go through hardship together, we do these things, and we build for our kids and for the kids of our kids. And so that's pretty amazing. But I also hear you saying, I don't do everything. Yeah. And I think it's one mistake sometimes that as a business owner, we start and we
single business.
And we want to hold to that.
Yeah.
And we don't understand sometimes that, there is a point in time that you have to say, hey, so
I have to let go and trust my team as well.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. And trust your team. Your husband is part of your team. The people that you work with are, you have to trust that they are going to do their work. And when I say trust, is not just letting go. Yeah. You don't take responsibility on it, but you trust that the person is going to be there and is going to respond. And I think that makes
what are some of the hats that you wear for your business
at this point?
Still a lot. I don't do customer service anymore, thank goodness. I have a customer service team, so that's been really great.
And they all talk through Instagram, social media, all of that stuff.
Yeah, they do that. And I have an operations manager, Candace, who's great too, and she manages like more of the day-to-day. So what I do right now is I still am in marketing. Marketing is my secret sauce. That's my superpower. I love it. I'm really
Did you go to school
it.
for marketing?
Did not.
Okay.
I went to school. I did have a degree in business and my minor's in graphic design.
Where did you go to school?
Utah Tech.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so I work on designing new products. I work on all of our marketing launches. Launches is my secret sauce too. I love introducing a new product to the market.
That's fun.
I still work on social media, but I do have a social media strategist now, and that has been life-changing for me. I've been the one running our Instagram account for years, even though I wasn't the one always replying to comments. I now have a social media strategist that we hired in January, and she's been amazing. It's given me a minute to breathe.
No, seriously.
Yeah. And and then managing the team.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty amazing. I
love that.
You know, yeah, me too. Now, when you say on your business, like, because you said about marketing is my secret sauce, you love launching products. Do you have any advice for, like, somebody trying to launch a product, trying to do things like that? What would be couple of things that you would say, hey, watch for this?
Marketing wise?
Yeah, marketing wise.
Okay. The launch is not about the day you launch. It's all about the work before. So about 2 weeks is when you want to start talking about the product, hyping it up. And really stories, everything, like anything you can.
TikTok sounds.
You like, it's the before the launch that actually is important. A lot of people will go into a new product and they'll launch it and they're like, hey, we're launching a new product tomorrow. I can't wait for you to see it. They launch it and it's like crickets.
Yeah.
And it's because you did not warm your audience enough to this. So I'd say at least 2 weeks. Yes. At least 2 weeks, you need to start talking about the product, getting them excited about it, showing all the features, telling them the story behind why you created this product so they can connect to that story as well. But storytelling in general is important. You're not selling a product, you're selling the emotion behind the product. And so, like,
that's really good.
For instance, we did an Ali bra named after my first daughter is our bestseller in the company, and it's a nursing bra. And we did a launch at the end of last year, and it's called Before the World Wakes. And so we did a whole launch video series of moms who were up in the morning, because we usually are the first one up with the baby, feeding the baby. Everyone else is asleep, that you're seeing the sun come up. So we did a video sequence on that, and it was called Before the World Wakes. And so we did little snippets. We did like 3 or 4 different, like 7 to 10 second videos to kind of warm them up with some emotional text over it, really hitting on the heartstrings of what that emotion feels like when you're the only one up with your baby. And then we did a whole launch.
Because I feel like that's something that's so true to me right now. I'm sorry that I'm gonna cry, you guys. But yeah, I'm a new mom as well. Wow, why am I crying? I'm so sorry. I'm not even gonna cry. Oh my gosh, I did not expect to cry right now. But no, everything that you're saying is so true to my life right now. I'm a new mother. I'm postpartum. And yeah, that is true. I am up with my daughter. Wow. I'm so sorry. I did not want to cry right now.
You know what? But this is
speaking truth. Right? You are very, very much speaking truth to my reality right now.
So the people that are getting that reality, it hits home.
It hits home so hard.
Yeah.
So thank you for like just breathing light to this. I feel like all new moms can relate to this, and I have so many friends, and I feel like in my journey right now, I didn't mean to make this about me right now, but I'm learning to grow up, or not grow up, but like I'm learning to build a friend group. Thank you. That are moms as well that I can relate to, and I feel like that is so important that moms have that community that we can relate to. And, this is a whole new journey for us. So thank you for kind of honestly shedding light to that, because that's so true. It really is.
Even if
why is motherhood lonely?
It's so lonely.
Oh my goodness.
So you're changing your identity.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're a first time
new
mom,
identity,
you
yeah.
change your whole identity of like, I'm now this person responsible for this
For
little
me,
one,
this
right?
little girl.
Yeah. And to me it's amazing because like this is connection. She's crying. It's this connection. It's
really
because
is. Thank you.
I feel, and that's what we need to learn as business owners, because she has a mission, because you believe on what you started. You pass this on, and somebody feels hurt. Somebody feels this is my place.
Yes.
And I think it's super important. I'm starting my business. I'm very passionate. Whatever it is. I mean, this case is this, but sometimes it's something else. It's baking a cake, is having,
it's the moments with baking the cake.
Exactly.
What are you making?
Exactly.
That you're going to, and those emotions. It's not about the cake. It's about watching your daughter step into womanhood.
Exactly.
And so creating content around stuff like that of not the cake, but what is the emotion you're feeling behind that?
Because the other is exactly what it is too. Like you guys are celebrating the 19th birthday of your business. Yeah. And it started like this, and you have see little pictures of little Diana, and she was like, 7 years old, baking and stuff like that. And this was fun.
Yeah.
So what I take out of this, and if I can kind of like put together something, is like, we need to build connection.
Yeah.
If we want to be successful, we can have the business idea, we have to have a mission, and we need to build connection to our clients, understand where they are coming from, what's hurting them, what, and how our product, our service can,
and all
help
these
them that
speak
way.
to that one person. And what I mean by that is your social media posts, your email newsletters that go out, if you have an SMS list. I don't try to make this broad. Oh, you can wear it during breastfeeding, but you can also wear it after. And my 14-year-old daughter wears it too. Like, you can't do that. You have to focus on exactly who your customer is and only speak to them because that happens. Yeah. And then they feel connected to it. But if I would have been like, oh, this is the bra for everyone, you would have felt no connection.
Yeah, exactly. What's behind it. I love that.
And that's
so creating a target audience for who you are selling to is you can't sell to everybody. This is a piece of advice. Sorry, don't want to go over this. I create an avatar. Okay. So my avatar's name is Rue. Okay. And it can be, you can name yours whatever you want, but if you own a business, you have to do this. You have to get a piece of paper, you write down your target customer's name. Like, if an ideal customer for you, what are they buying? Or the person who's buying from you, what's their name? How old are they? Do they live in the suburbs? Do they live in the city? How many kids do they have? What kind of car do they drive? You should know this person better than you know yourself. And you're just like making this person up. What's their favorite color? What TV shows do they watch on Netflix? What music do they listen to? Why do they buy?
How much money do they make a year? Literally every single thing about them you need to know. And then so every time you create a piece of content, email, newsletter, anything, you're writing to only that person.
Yeah. And that's the difference, I feel like, between marketing and branding. Creating that brand and that voice is important so that you're able to then follow through to who you are selling to.
Well, I think this is a very big lesson that many times business owners miss, is having this client, and not a client, the client, that you are talking to, that you are relating to and everything. And so I really appreciate you saying that, because I do believe that myself. And but sometimes people think, oh no, if we want to,
I want to sell to everybody. Everybody's my customer.
Everybody. And I'm like, no, you have to concentrate on the one that you say. And sometimes, I mean, other people will see the value and they'll buy and everything, but your client is that one that you were talking to, and you're generating that connection. So I appreciate you saying that.
That's a really good point.
Can I ask a quick question, Lucy? So what's the inbound marketing process that you're using for your company? Is that something important for you guys at all? Or?
So what do you mean? Elaborate.
I mean, the outbound is whatever you're putting out there for people to see, and then they come to you, right? But there's also an inbound system that allows you to connect with customers in a more frequent basis. Like, let's say you have an email list, you send them an email, and that kind of becomes a more interactive conversation with them.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do it through DMs and whatnot. But what would that process be like for you guys, and how important or meaningful it is for your company?
One of the most important. My team knows if somebody DMs us or comments on a post, we reply to them. Every single one. And because our brand is so emotional, if a mom reaches out to us and says, oh my gosh, I love your bra, it changed my life, I no longer have this problem or this problem, and we ignore that, or we don't respond to it, she now just feels like another customer. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we're replying with not just, oh, that's great. We reply with a real human connection. Like, we're so glad this has helped you. Let us know if there's anything else that we can do. We're wishing you so much love on your journey. Or if a mom reaches out, says she weaned her baby, we respond with, oh, it's such a bittersweet process. Like, we respond with real stuff.
Real connection.
Yeah,
that's important. I can see why that would be really important. I have a question, maybe going off topic a little bit. Have you felt or seen, do you do like PR packages? Do you send them to influence it? Like, what is kind of that? Have you ever tapped into that type of marketing?
So this is a whole fun conversation. Okay. Yes, we do PR packages. I'm gonna back up a little bit and going back to Pancho. And another way that we responded, we do have a text list and an email list, and we listen to those. People don't always reply because they think that it's just a salesy thing, right? But like, for instance, we had a mom reach out saying that she was having a really hard day, and she just needed a sweet message. We had sent a sweet message. It wasn't a salesy comment, and we found her. I was like, you guys look her up in our orders and see if we have her address. We had her address, and we sent her flowers that day.
Oh, wow. That's
So, like,
amazing.
Those connections are important. So we do so much extra PR, like not necessarily PR boxes, which we do too, but we do a lot of that stuff. We send 3 bouquets of flowers to our community a month.
Out of the
And we have a list of like moms who may have reached out having a hard time or going through this. And then we do have PR boxes that we send out. We probably send 4 or 5 throughout the year. We have a list of influencers that we work with, influencers, celebrities, UCG creators, and we do send to that, but we always leave half of the list open, and we will go through and see who our top 10 customers were for last month, who spent the most money with us last year. We'll go through who's been commenting and just engaging with our community, and we add them to the list. And then we always do a little giveaway too, where we'll like give away 5 just for people interacting or liking our post or whatever. So yes, influencers, but we really do focus more
who
on
actually
community.
supports you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's important.
Yeah, I love that too. Let's talk about, I mean, this is a lot of work. You know, you have a lot going on. How do you feel lonely sometimes? How do you take care of your mental health? How do you go about, as I am this CEO of this big company, you not only helping moms, but you have your employees that are depending on you and your company.
Huge team.
How do you feel about that? And how do you take care of yourself?
This kind of goes back to the question of when you said, like, how do you put your family first and all of this? So I am not going to sugarcoat it. When you are starting off as an entrepreneur, your family does not always come first. There are times where you do have to put your business first, especially when your family is relying on that income for you to be able to feed them. So there are days where it is definitely off balance. Business comes first, family comes first. But there's a point that when you start to hire a team, you are able that it happens less and less. So you're able to focus more on the family. So there's that. I go to therapy every Thursday morning.
I love that. Therapy.
I skipped my therapy appointment for this today.
Oh, thank you.
Every Thursday I go to therapy, and it has
This is your therapy.
This will be your therapy.
It does wonders. And then entrepreneurship is very lonely.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have a team around you, and even if you have a family around you, I don't always want to be the one that comes home and talks about work all the time to my husband. We have to have a relationship outside of that. And I also don't want to, I'm not going to go to work and talk about my personal life either. So there's very much 2 rooms that you're set inside all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important to find other entrepreneurs that you can vent to. I found a group.
Journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a group that my friend Mackenzie from Thread Wallets, she started, called Female Founders. And I joined that about 2 years ago, and we go on about 1 to 2 trips a year. We've gone to Morocco,
fun.
we've gone to Bali, we went to Costa Rica.
That is so cool.
And
I want to be in that group.
it has changed my life drastically, especially because there's not very many Latina owners. Like when I go to events, sometimes you're the only one in the room.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I don't have a lot of roots here in Utah. I don't have connections to banks. I don't have so-and-so who owns this company that can help me figure out a manufacturer for this. I'm the first one figuring this out. And so when I joined that group, I was accepted into this.
Belonging in that?
Yes, and the networking.
Okay,
so I always tell my husband I can't afford to miss one of those trips because the value I get from them is incredible. I've met bankers. I've learned how to manage money. I learned that you're not supposed to put everything on a debit card, and you're supposed to put it on your credit card in the business because you're protecting your own cash. Those are things I didn't know before. And so finding people within the entrepreneur world
can give you tips and tricks to do better.
And you can vent to and not feel
exactly. Super, super important. You know, like look for your tribe,
Mhm.
find these people that are going through the same thing as you.
Like-minded as you.
Like here at Swazo, that's one thing that we're trying to build a lot too, is to bring these young entrepreneurs that don't know, like they have a dream, but they don't know where to start and everything. Bring that connection, the education, like giving as much information. That's one of the reasons that we started this podcast,
Mhm.
is because we want our clients to have somebody to look up
And
to,
it be inspired.
a real person here from the community.
You don't know
and
what
stuff
you
like
don't
that.
know.
Exactly.
So having different people
Exactly.
come on this podcast is going to
Yeah.
be so valuable.
Yeah, and so we really appreciate having you here sharing, like this experience with us. Diana, do you have any more questions
I
for
feel like
Lindsay?
I want to go into the networking aspect. How important do you feel like networking? I know you tapped a little bit into this, but how important do you feel like networking is for your business's success? Do you, obviously, because you said you learned tips and tricks. I guess you kind of answered that.
All of it. I think people underrate networking is just so underrated. You get invited to an event with other entrepreneurs, you need to go. You don't ever say no if you're able. Like, I understand if
You're
something
busy.
happens,
Yeah.
but like you make space to go to those things. And I think early on I didn't understand that, and I would not go because I was so exhausted, or I needed to get home to be with the kids and do this or that. And then I realized, wow, I'm missing out on really incredible conversations that I didn't even know I needed to be a part of until I went to these events.
Wait, so what made you realize that? Because you were not going because you were tired and everything, and there was a point in there that you said, I have to change this, I need to start going. Now you see the value. What was that?
So what changed was when Mackenzie put together that group called Female Founders. She said they were going on a trip. This was the very first one they were going on, and it was to Morocco. And you had to apply and be accepted. And I remember applying and thinking, oh my gosh, like, please let me get accepted. I've never been to anything like this. I didn't know anyone. So it was kind of like scary. I got accepted. And because I got accepted, and I was just like, I'm just going to go. I don't know anyone. I kind of knew Mackenzie, but I didn't really know her very much at the time. And that one was sponsored, I think. I think we only had to pay, like, I can't remember. Just, it wasn't very much to go on this trip. And so I asked my husband, can you manage the kids while I vote? He said, absolutely. So when I went and I was surrounded by 19 other female founders, the conversations they were having, I didn't even know existed.
Wow.
There were things I had no idea that I was supposed to be doing in my business, and they all knew. Like, they all knew. And I was like, these are conversations I've been missing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't.
It lit
No,
a
we
fire
didn't.
in you.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like. I love that.
I didn't even know what questions to ask,
Mhm.
and so.
Do you feel like maybe this goes, being the student is always better than being the teacher in the room? Like, how people are like, never be the smartest person in the room.
Yes.
I feel like that's
100%.
true to this.
100%.
Okay.
It is. And that's when that opened my mind to it. Like, I remember specifically being we were like this little pool in Morocco, and they were talking about finances and how they manage their money within the business, and going back to the credit card day. And they were talking about their credit cards, and they pull out their credit cards and which one's best, and Amex and all this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I use my Wells Fargo debit card.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my gosh, Lindsay, you can't do that. So risky.
Yeah.
Like, if someone got your bank account information from your card, and they could literally drain every penny you've ever made, and it's not protected. And then what do you do? Because you have zero funds in there. If you have a credit card, now it's on the credit card. You still have your money in your account, and then credit cards are more protected.
So use other
And
people's
so
money.
you use other people's money.
Yeah.
And then I always didn't like debt, always terrified me. We were raised, if you don't have the cash for it, you don't buy it.
Yeah.
My parents bought cars with cash. They did not
put
like anything
debt.
on credit.
Yeah.
Zero credit.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot to Latino families that
We're
here.
scared of debt.
Well, first, sometimes you don't know how to use the credit here. You don't know how it works, and like
You just hoard it.
and then
Yeah.
exactly, and then you are
It's like
so
under the
scared
mattress.
of like getting to that because that's the mentality that a lot of people come from there. So that's that's amazing.
When my grandpa passed away, he had this old Pinto, and they found cash in the trunk, and we're like, what if this burned down?
Yeah.
Like, like, we didn't learn anything. So I always thought that was bad. And then I'm with these people that like know everything, and I opened up my iPhone, open up the notes, and I took pages of notes from that one trip. And I came home and I remember telling my husband, oh my gosh, you got to listen to everything that I learned. Then I called my mom and my dad, because he also owns a business, and these are things that they didn't even know yet, like, because they were the first ones pioneering this as well. So I remember sitting down with my mom and teaching her everything that I learned. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're not supposed to be doing this, and that's not bad. We should be using other people's money. And like, it was just so overwhelming. And so you can't say no to a networking event. You just don't know. I found manufacturers for new products I wanted to work on that I had no idea who to work with because I'm new to manufacturing. Oh, let me give you my manufacturers. Easy. Like, for them, so easy to hand me this manufacturer's information.
I love that.
So I heard build connections. I heard learn from everything that you can. Sometimes, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. I hear be faithful to the client, to the person, the client that you're serving, like that special person, that ideal client that you have. Listen to them, like respond and build connection. Anything else that you would add for?
No, but going back to the networking thing, one thing I just want to say, because I know sometimes it's nerve-wracking if you are the least educated one in the room. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, I would ask, well, what specifically? Like, how do you mean don't use your debit card?
Yeah.
How specifically are you doing this? And I would just ask them and have them explain it to me. Don't ever feel dumb. They will answer. If they're great people, they will answer your questions. They will be so happy to teach you. And then take notes, write it down, because you'll forget.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Here at Swazo, we talk a lot about that when we do teach the classes and stuff like that. Ask because if you don't ask, you're gonna go.
Maybe somebody else is afraid to ask the question too. So you're maybe speaking up for somebody else that might have that same question. I have one last, or I don't know if we're done, but if you had 8-year-old Lindsay standing right in front of you, what would you tell 8-year-old Lindsay? What advice? We'll see.
My whole life, I don't know where I got it from, but I have had the confidence to not be afraid to fail. And I think that sometimes people and adults would try to put out that fire for me, like, hey, you need to be more safe, or you shouldn't do that. And I would probably just tell her, keep going. You know what you're doing. Don't listen to the adults.
Yes, I know.
Okay, amazing.
There's you guys know that movie, the Cars movie? And there's like a specific part in the Cars movie where like an interviewer is asking Lightning McQueen, like, how did you know that you could do it? And he responds, well, I never thought I couldn't do it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And so I feel like that's the biggest thing in anything that you do in life, whether it be a business or whatever. It's believing that, why can't I do it? Why would I not? So I feel like that's really good. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for coming here, Lindsay.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.